Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Hanthorn, and my essay is called The Right to Bear Arms, a Rural Perspective on Gun Control. This topic is personal for me, not because I'm trying to be political, but because I was raised around firearms. Out where I come from, guns aren't about power or intimidation. They're tools. Simple as that. We use them to hunt, to keep predators away from livestock, and sometimes just to feel safe when we're out in the middle of nowhere. And that's not an opinion. That is just how life is. I remember deer season being treated like a holiday. We'd wake up early, grab our gear, and we'd head in the cold woods hoping to bring back meat for the freezer. It wasn't sport. It was a form of survival. I also remember carrying a sidearm to keep snakes or coyotes at bay, especially if we're out checking on calves or fixing fence lines far away from the house or far away from any kind of help. That kind of responsibility gets passed down early in life. We were taught not just how to shoot, but when not to. Guns were respected, locked up properly, handled with care, and never treated like toys. That's why I get frustrated when people push for tighter gun laws without understanding that perspective. Most folks I know are doing things the right way already. They're not the problem. Now in my paper, I cited John R. Lott, who wrote the book More Guns, Less Crime. He says, and I quote, "Allowing law-abiding citizens to carry concealed handguns reduces crime." He also shows that when more responsible people carry, criminals think twice. I've seen that in action. When people know you're armed and trained, you're less of a target. But I didn't ignore the other side either. One of the articles I used from the New England Journal of Medicine argued that limiting access to assault weapons and high-capacity magazines can reduce the number of casualties in mass shootings. And honestly, I get where they're coming from. Tragedies like school shootings are heartbreaking. I felt that same frustration and fear when I see them on the news. But here's my take on it. Banning a certain type of gun won't solve what's really broken with today's society. The problem goes deeper than that. We need better background checks, we need real access to mental health care, and we need to make sure people are properly trained, not punishing them for owning a firearm. Think about it this way. When someone drives drunk and causes a crash, we don't ban all cars. We hold the driver accountable. Guns should be the same. Go after the person who misuses them, not the people following the law. Another thing I hear a lot is that the Second Amendment is outdated. That is written back when people were loading muskets one shot at a time. But the core idea of protecting your home, that hasn't changed. Not where I'm from, at least. If the sheriff is 30 minutes away, you don't wait around hoping things work out. You prepare. That's not fear, that's reality, people. In rural communities, guns carry more than just function. They carry meaning. I still have my granddad's old rifle. It's not just a gun, it's a story. It reminds me of who he was, what he taught me, and that kind of connection matters. And I think sometimes people forget that when they talk about gun laws like it's just data on a spreadsheet. To be clear, I'm not against safety. I'm not against background checks or training. In fact, I think every gun owner should know how to store and handle their firearms responsibly. But making life harder for responsible people doesn't fix the real issue. That's like banning knives because someone used one the wrong way. And at the end of the day, this isn't about politics to me. It's about experience. It's about culture. It's about the real difference between what it's like to grow up in rural versus urban. Maybe if I had grown up in a city, I'd feel differently, but I didn't, and I know what it's like to rely on yourself when no one else is around. So my message is this. Folks like me deserve to be heard too. We're not reckless. We're not dangerous. We're just people trying to live our lives with the tools and traditions we were raised with. And I believe if more people actually listen to each other, both sides, doesn't matter where you stay on this, we could find real answers instead of just more arguments. This might actually lead to fixing the issues with the mental health epidemic going on and help limit the side effects of people using guns the wrong way. Thank you for listening and have a good rest of your night.